All right,
You good?
let's go.
Cool. Let's do it. So let's start talking about the Sam River twice. What brought that piece together?
The gallery up in just south of Hudson, New York, in Linlithgow, New York, and it's a large space, 15,000 square feet. And she was doing an exhibition, and she asked me to do an exhibition, like to put my work in this space. So we're talking 15,000 square feet. Whenever you get an idea, when people are proposed to show to you, I mean, I'm always running through tons of ideas, sketching this, all kinds of ideas that I go back to my old notebooks. And then it kind of struck me like, I'm living in New York, I'm just from south of that area, and I wanted to do a piece that showed that culture was like moving back up the river. And I used the river as this conduit in a way, conceptually as well as practically. Created a river 32 feet long on a platform filled with words that inspired me to move to New York City when I was young. So I'd come down to the beach in Haverstraw and stare off across the big Haverstraw Bay. And again, I would just hope that the river would float me down to New York. That was really the basis of it. Kind of like the idea of the tide flowing backwards to up past Stony Point, where I'm from, up to the Hudson, New York, where the gallery is, which is now a hot area in the art world.
And when did the name come into play with the piece?
The name came in, funny enough, I think it almost immediately after I thought about the idea. I really like working with titles as well. Titles tend to form, I kind of like formulate title at the same time that I'm formulating like an idea. It doesn't always work out that way, but it seems to help inform my thought process. So I read the quote, the Greek philosopher, and it was like, wow, this is so perfect for me, And the question was for me as well, can I put my feet in the same river twice? Meaning, if I go back, when I moved from upstate New York, it was not the greatest moment of my life. Stare out. Walk around, look for driftwood, shells or something. But this was like an hour at night. It wasn't like that. The majority of my day was slipping further into the hole of depression, I guess it was. I was young, I was desperate, I was bored, I wanted to live here. I just didn't know how to get to New York at that time. And so now I'm embracing more of the ability to move back up that way. I have a house upstate, and when I first bought my house in 1995 up in Woodstock, the art up there, and I don't mean to offend anybody, was a lot of craft and a lot of, people that weren't in the New York art world. I mean, you have your people, of course. Now, and I'm going to piss a lot of people off if I say that, but just how I take it. But now, there's like a real art scene happening in and around the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome.
From Beacon all the way up, it's incredible.
No, I'm shameless.
So,
No, we have that in common.
of course we do.
That's something we learned that we had that when we were in Finland together.
Exactly. Up in the Arctic.
Yeah, we were in the Arctic, and we were both, I think we were drinking too much schnapp.
Well, at that time I was drinking Lapinkulta, which is a Lapland's gold beer.
Oh yeah, well I was drinking the schnapps. It looks like water, but it'll knock your head right off.
Well, what else are you going to do up there in the winter?
Woo, but it was nice. It was fun.
So my question is, can I embrace this art scene because I'm from there? And that's like one of the questions I had. Am I ready to embrace it? Am I the same man that I was in 1985 when I moved back to New York? Hating upstate. Not the upstate itself, but I hated myself for not having the courage and the fortitude to move from upstate. That was really my problem at that time.
What year did you make the Same River Twice?
2013.
2013. And so at that time, where were you in your life compared to 1995, compared to 1984?
I moved to New York in 1985. I mean, a totally different person. I mean, you know, when I first moved to New York, I worked at a type shop. You know, there was no art scene. I had lived at that time. I'm you know, born and raised. My first 5 years of my life were in Tompkins Cove, and then I moved to Stony Point when I was 5. Dickens, right? Tale of two cities. A tale of two small towns. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times. Just having my family here, and I mean my aunts and my uncles. We were related to everybody seemingly, or if they weren't, we still called them aunt and uncle. Just having that was, you know. And I left Stony Point at 18 to go to college, probably 17, I guess, 17 or 18, I forget. And then 18. And when I moved to New York in 85, I was 24 years old. Within a month, I ended up being in a group show. Within 3 months, I'm in 2 or 3 group shows. End up doing another group show at Minor Injury Gallery, which is at the end of Manhattan Avenue here in Greenpoint. And my life began. So, but since then, so in 2013, by 2013 already, I had been in the Venice Biennale 2003 at Palazzo Zorzi. I had been, by that time, 2013, on 6 solo museum exhibitions, international, maybe more. So I had gone from this kid who was doing, you know, shitty art on his parents' back deck after college to having done 6 or 7 solo museum shows, you know, from Spain and Finland and Korea. I've done residencies in Korea. I've done exhibitions, and I mean all over the world, literally. I don't know how many countries I've done exhibitions.
So when we talk, we keep saying the Same River Twice, right? And that's
Yeah.
just kind of our shorthand for whatever this is that we're doing.
Yes.
But I think the thing that's really important as far as the quote goes, it's no man ever steps in the same river twice, which is the one everyone knows, right?
Yes.
I think it's actually the back half is the more important.
That's why I kept it. That's why I
which
put it
is,
there.
For it's not the same river, and he's not the same man.
Yes. To me, that's why I left it. Everybody knows the first sentence or the first part of that quote, but it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. Whether it's the conceptually theoretical person he's talking about, or me, and, you know, which is the pragmatic end of it. I'm not the same person, and I'm still struggling sometimes with the idea of, can I embrace it there? I don't know. Meaning,
What do you mean by embrace?
New York has this energy, and that's why I moved here. I wanted to embrace the energy of New York. But am I willing now, all these years later, after living in New York for 32 years, have a studio in the country? And I used to think I couldn't. I always thought to myself, I couldn't do it. Some people I know do it, but I always felt like, oh, those poor suckers, man. You know, they gave up. They couldn't fucking hack it anymore, you know? And I don't think that's true. What changed for me was I did a residency at Yaddo, which is an art residency. It's art, music, literature, you know, writers, composers, artists, up in Saratoga Springs, New York. And I did that in 2011, I think it was. And I was in a place called Pigeon House East. That was my studio. I lived and worked in the same part of Pigeon House. And from my art studio, I could overlook the grounds of Yaddo, the mansion, and I really embraced it. Like, it was like, I'm saying the word embrace too much, but it really, I got it. I was like, oh shit, it doesn't matter where the hell I am me. I'm the artist. The city doesn't define my art. I want to define the city. lived in Korea at the Gyeonggi Creation Center Art Residency Program in 2012, which is right after Yado. I went from Yado in 2011 in August. I spent the month of August in Yado. I went from there, I did a museum show in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. I was there for a month riding my bicycle and to and from my hotel to the museum. And then I went from there and I spent 3 months at our residency program on an island called Daebudo in west of Seoul. And that was on an island in the Yellow Sea in the middle of winter. As isolated as you can get, 20 kilometers south of the DMZ or whatever. And my work flourished. I was able to cut all the stuff I worry about in New York out of my life and do nothing but my work. It was every day, wake up in the morning to 12 at night, just like I do here. But what happens in New York is everything happens in New York, you know? There's always a distraction, which is a great distraction. Even tonight, as we're filming this thing, my art dealer texted me and said, you know, Richard, you have to go to an opening tonight at a museum. You know, I'm in Venice, Italy right now. Can you go stand in proxy for me? I'm like, I can't do it. And that's every single day. That's every night, you know? Where I'm more of the kind of guy that comes to my studio in the morning, gets all my food in one fell swoop, and just eats it, and then I spend until 11 o'clock at night in the studio. I never leave my studio. I walk from my loft to my art studio. I don't even know where I live. I could live in Kansas, or I could live in anywhere. You know, so anyway, that's what I'm trying to like embrace that right now.
Yeah, that vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
So anywhere in the world,
Yes,
where would you live?
if I could. Here.
I traveled here 1,000 miles through painful tears and pretend smiles.